To analyze the data, click Analyze, select Non-Parametric Test, Legacy Dialog, and K-independent samples. To view the variable's name, right-click and select Display Variable Names. The EQ items and total EQs are dependent variables. We will move them into the test variable list box. Highlight the 6 variables. Click the arrow button to move them into the box. Select the independent variable group and move it into the grouping variable box. Click the Define Range button, then type 1 and 3 in the minimum and maximum boxes. To let the computer know that we have 3 groups labeled as 1 to 3. Then click Continue. Ensure that the Kruskal-Wallis hash test is selected. Click the OK button to get the result of analysis. The result of Kruskal-Wallis hash test are presented in ranks and test statistic tables. Let me elaborate the tables one by one. Let me enlarge the ranks table. The rank table presents the mean rank score of the 3 groups. For example, for the EQ item 1, I understand my own emotion most of the time. The mean rank for psychology group is 48.35, business group is 44.95, and computer programming group is 22.75. The table shows that for the item EQ1, EQ2, EQ3, and EQ5, the mean rank of the psychology group are the highest, followed by the business group and lastly the computer programming group. However, for item EQ4, the mean rank score of the business and computer programming groups are higher than the psychology group. Furthermore, for the total EQ item, the mean rank score of the psychology group is the highest, followed by the business group and lastly the computer programming group. Now we move to the test statistic table. Let me enlarge it. The test statistic table presents the Kruskal-Wallis hash test result. By comparing the mean rank score of the 3 groups, the test is significant if the p-value is less than 0.05. The test results show that the p-value of EQ item 1, 2, 3, and 5 are smaller than 0.05. In reporting the Kruskal-Wallis test result, report the hash value, the f-value, and the p-value. The hash value is the chi-square value. For example, the result of EQ1 is the hash value is 27.622, the f equals 2 is in the column, and the p-value is 0.000. This result means that the research hypothesis 1, 2, 3, and 5 are true, and the null hypothesis 1, 2, 3, and 5 are rejected. With the result, we make a decision that there are significant differences in EQs between the 3 groups for EQ item 1, 2, 3, and 5. Then we move to EQ item 4. The p-value of EQ item 4 is larger than 0.05. This means the research hypothesis 4 is not true, and the null hypothesis 4 is true. Hence, we make a decision that there is no significant difference in EQ between the three groups for EQ item 4. For the total EQ, the p-value of the total EQ is smaller than 0.05. This means the research hypothesis 6 is true and the null hypothesis 6 is rejected. With this result, we make a decision that there is a significant difference in EQ between the three groups. Then report the H, DF, and P and the mean rank values as stated in the green note. This is the way of reporting the result of Kruskal-Wallis H test. The Kruskal-Wallis H test result show that there are significant differences in EQ between the three groups. For EQ item 1, item 2, item 3, and item 5, all of them are significant at p less than 0.05. The mean rank score of the psychology group are highest for the 4 EQ items, followed by the business group, and lastly the computer programming group. However, for EQ item 4, no significant differences between the three groups was found. The Kruskal-Wallis H test result also show that there is a significant differences in EQ between the three groups. Conclusion: there are significant differences of perception between the psychology group, business group, and computer programming group on their emotional intelligence. More specifically, the three groups have different perception on understanding on emotions, having good relationship with other people, expressing emotion appropriately at the right time, aware of the effect of their own emotion on other people. The psychology group have the most positive perception on their emotion intelligence, followed by the business group, and finally the computer programming groups. The Kruskal-Wallis H test show that there is a difference between the three groups as a total. However, it does not present whether there is significant difference between group 1 and 2, between group 2 and 3, and between group 1 and group 3 for the items. We can use the Mann-Whitney U test as a post-hoc test to compare which of the above three pairs has significant differences. You can click the video Mann-Whitney U test in this YouTube channel for SPSS data analysis to learn how to differentiate the three pairs of this data. After learning the Kruskal-Wallis H test, let's practice your SPSS data analysis skill with an exercise. In this exercise, a researcher conducts a research to investigate if there are differences in work satisfaction among three salary groups. By using the data KW1 SAV, analyze the data using SPSS and report the result of your analysis. To download the data for practice, click the subscribe button, and in the YouTube channel, click the video exercise for Kruskal-Wallis H test. Then, click the link to download the SPSS data. I hope you enjoy the video. Have a nice day.